All right, that video is on its way, uploaded, and let's continue. So we have installed. We've already done the configuration, and demo data. I don't know what that was. I think my notes are off here. Okay. So we went through the config files. Cool. And like your from address has to be totally legit for your email to work. We're going to test that. So let's add our CSS and JS files. How about that? So we know how to do that. We go to shared components. I wish there was an easier way to do this. You can import these, obviously, if you just import them. So we're going to go to static application files. And we're going to do create file. And we're going to import our CSS file first. So that'll be in demo CSS. Now, there's not much in here yet, but I'm going to be making use of it. This will be like the main CSS file as I create classes that I'm going to use. So, so we need to get that in there. The obviously, if you don't use it, the styles just won't show up, but it's not a big deal. But like the login form does make use of the one class that I have in here. I'm going to set this to directory CS. You could really do whatever you want as long as you know what you're doing. And we're going to say create and create another. I wonder if should I do CS or C? I should do CSS. I don't know why I did CS. We'll do JS. We're going to grab the demo JS file and create. We'll go back and edit that. Yeah, it's going to show us this and save changes. And we need to go to static application files. And let's just change this. Should be, it doesn't, I don't even know if it really uses the directory. I think it might just append that to the file name. But okay, let's go back. Static application files. So now, once we have that, we're going to take this, and we're going to reference it. So our JavaScript, it does have some things like, I'll go show you these files in a second. So let's just go to shared components, application definition. Is it user interface attributes? User interface, we can get to it here. And we're going to go to CSS and put that, nope, that's the JavaScript one. Put that in there, apply changes. We're going to get our, we should use min, I guess, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Okay, so it minifies those files. Actually, it looks like they already refer to the min. They just use it as a parameter. That's interesting. Okay, so we have added those. Let's go look at those files. I'll just show you what's in them. There's not a lot right now, but they're going to get more fully developed. So CSS, I just have a k2-text-md, so medium-sized text. And you'll see that on the login forms. On the JavaScript side, just kind of documenting things as I go out, but I have is mobile device, make buttons large. I don't even know if I'm using this anywhere right now. I am using the auto dismiss message box. I think that's set to 5 seconds on the login form. And then hide last pass icon, yeah, I sometimes need to use that. So these are things I've written over time. Some of them I'm using, some of them I'm not. But this will definitely grow. The JavaScript library is definitely going to grow as we do things. So, all right. Now, we need to copy our authentication scheme and make it the current authentication scheme. So we want to use, we're going to go to here. We'll go to shared components. authentication schemes, and this is where you need to have the demo imported so you can do this. We're going to do create as a copy of an existing scheme from our demo app, which you should have imported, even if it doesn't work. And yes, we want to copy the SAS auth PKG scheme. Should probably call that K2 at this point. So that's another thing that might change. We're going to click that, and we're going to say make current. All right. So apply changes. And is it showing as current? I think it's not showing as current. Let's try this again. Make current. Go out. It does not want to make that current for some reason. Yeah, that's what I wanted to see. There it is. Okay, now that worked. All right, what is next? Make authentication. Okay, copy the login page and change the target for branch. Okay, so let's go get our login page. So to do that, we got to go into a page so that we can say copy, pages copy. And we're going to get a page from another application. It'll be our demo app. And we want this to be the same page number. Oh, you know what? Before I do this, I know there's a note here that I got out of order. Let's go back here. We want to go to this login page. You can always correct this if you don't do it now, but it won't allow you to have the same alias twice, and we want the alias to be login, ideally, because that's used. So we're going to say login to, whatever, loan login to, and save that. And then we can actually go to pages copy, page in another application, demo, and we want to copy the 20,001 login. I want the same number, and we just want to call this login, no breadcrumb, don't associate with navigation entry. I think all that's correct. You shouldn't need to change anything. Okay. All right, so here's our really cool, we can do login, registration, forgot password, change our password, verify our email, and delete our account all on one page. So this is one of the kind of major things that, you know, ideally would take a while to build yourself. So even though these videos are kind of long, think about how long it would take you to build all this. So you're really getting started. In a matter of a few hours, you're ready to start writing code. You've got a system for managing where if you come up with a utility you need, you can add it to your own code. You could say, hey, this should be part of K2. We can add it to K2. All that kind of stuff. Hopefully someday we'll have lots and lots of developers using K2 and working on K2 and helping build and make K2 better. We, you know, would love to see libraries that interact with payment processors, banks, libraries that you know, do all kinds of things. Okay, so we're going to change the target. So let's just go, what do you need to change here? Let's go to processing. Well, after we log in, we do want to just go ahead and say, where do we want to go? And in this case, it's right. We're going to go to page 1. And so that could be modified. And you can modify I put a lot of the code right in these processes. So I've exposed a lot of the kind of internal workings. So There will be a whole video in which I just talk about going through this code, but I'm trying to give you, without having to go into the code in the libraries, the ability to kind of deal with, like, what do you want to do with a locked account? Well, that's right there. In my case, I raise an error, I log it, but that's all that happens. Okay. And a lot of this I just finished working on. A lot of work went into it, and testing it, and there's probably still some things that are going to change. So, oh, and then we're going to have to enable deferred page rendering, because if we run this, you'll kind of see everything. Watch. Oop, there it goes. Let's go register for free. Whoops. Yeah, so that's no good, right? So you need to go back to rendering up here to that and click deferred page rendering. And now let's see what happens. There we go. So now we can register. This is the CSS that's applying to that. That's if you didn't import the CSS file, that's what'll happen. Okay. So what's next? Send a test email. Okay, let's send a test email. So, show you a little bit about how email works. In your app, you have a file for your app called app send email. And in it are there's an app send email procedure, which is made for sending email. We have an app owner email, which is going to send email to the app admin or owner. And then we have app send email attachment, which is for sending attachments. And I'm using Apex Mail. If you're using something else and you want all the code base to kind of use your stuff, you need to modify these procedures so that they take the same parameters, but what they do internally is whatever you want it to do to send emails. So you could easily integrate an email service or something like that without having to go modify the code anywhere. So this is your hook. And lots of stuff is just hooks. Like we're just hooking things in. And so the easiest way to test an email is just run app owner subject body. So I'm going to go back here to a SQL worksheet for loan. And I'm going to execute this owner p subject and p body. And we're going to run that. Says it completed successfully. Let me pull this over off the screen, go to my Gmail account. And see if I got an email. Yes, it says ArcLogic software. Yep, I got an email. I'll pull it over. Yeah, I won't pull it over there. So that worked. Close that. All right, so email's working. If your email didn't work, try to figure that out. If you're trying to debug things, the easiest way to do that is select star from ArcSQL log order by one descending, and we'll see our logs. So everything in most of the logging is used ArcSQL log. We're not using Apex logging much. I like it this way. You can always do it the other way if you want with your code. The Apex code, you could, I guess you could add some hooks into ArcSQL and call that logging if you want. Most of the time I'm doing development and troubleshooting, I'm from a SQL. I'm able to pull up SQL Developer or something, and that's what I want to see. Okay, so let's see. You can see what's running. App task 5 minutes. Like, I wonder what that is. We could just go in here, highlight that. We're going to go back to our code base, into our, I assume it's in my app. I don't know, but let's just say we'd go find in folder. We could search more broadly, and here it is. It's in the app schedules file, and this is the job, and this is the code. While I'm here, let's go ahead and comment out the line to delete from the ArcSQL log everything older than a day. That's type debug. That just cleans things up. And, do we want to kill sessions for this user? I say we do, but in order to do that, we need alter system, and that doesn't come by default. So I'm going to do grant alter system to loan. I know a lot of you are saying, hey, that's a really bad idea to expose that power to the web, and it is. On a production app, we would need to have another session that's totally not exposed, that has the ability to kind of clean up those things on the back end. We wouldn't expose that to our app. That's giving our user a little bit too much privileges, but we're going to do it for now because I'm not developing anything too crazy, and this doesn't need to be that secure. And it's easy. Okay, so that we could recompile manually now if we wanted to, or we could just wait until we rerun the install. So I'll go ahead and recompile it. And there we go. I'll get rid of that so it doesn't confuse me. All right, let's see, got that. We already renamed the original login page, so we don't need to do that. The alias for the login page needs to be login. It already was since we did the rename. Okay, upper right corner. Yeah, this is annoying, right? I don't know what's going on here. Let's go. We'll run this. And we've got this nobody in the upper right corner. And if I sign out, which I'm not logged in, so we should get an error here. Let's see. Actually, it didn't give me an error this time. I don't know why, but we're going to do some fixing of that. So let's go back to shared components. We'll go to our list. Now, of course, you can deal with menus, on your own, but we'll go to navbar and what we want to do. So edit app user. First, we don't want to see this if we're not logged in. So condition, we're going to say user is authenticated. And that might be all I need to do to fix that. Yep, there we go. Okay, so that's fixed. And see what else we want to do here. There's lots of things we could do. We could customize fonts. I don't want to do that right now. Okay, we could go through the Lightsail, how to set up the vanity URL. It's in the notes. It works pretty easy. It's pretty easy. So I could do that now. I could set up a URL, loan.com, and I'm pointed there. Okay, let's go ahead and I think we're ready to register a user. So let's do this. Let's go ahead. Oh, you know what? I know what I want to do. So we should have a user already. So if we go to our config, remember we went through our config, our app config, we have a test user called test@foo, and the password should be RRR Chevy truck. That user should exist. One thing we can do is check our SAS auth table. This is where our users go. And it doesn't exist. I know why. So this is a to-do also. I'm going to go ahead and add code that says if you've set this up, it installs it. But I need to go to app users and comment out this code. Unfortunately, it defaults to comment, so this is definitely a to-do. So if the app config environment is dev, then If the app test user is not null, then if the user does not exist, then it's going to add it and it's going to set the account status to active. I'm just going to go ahead and run that manually instead of running install. The thing about install is you can run it over and over and over again. It's not supposed to wipe anything out. Although I guess at this point because I'm kind of just trying to get out of full development mode. This is the first time I've actually gone through and done like a full shebang like this. Some tables in K2 do get dropped and recreated. So I'll be changing that. It's another to-do. I'm going to have to go back and watch my own video to figure out all these to-dos. Okay. Loans, I saw, why did it not like this? Fast auth not compiling. I don't want to do too much troubleshooting here. Let's just go look at this really quick and see what we did. Yeah. You know what? I think some of these calls might be out of date. Does username exist? That really should be p username. Appconfig dev. Yeah, I think add account. I think add account. Appconfig app test user appconfig. Yeah, it should work. All right, well, let's go ahead and do a full install and just see if that takes care of it. Maybe I'm missing something. So that sets up our test user, but we could register, but we don't want to do that while that's building. We could show you how to set up nav menus sometime. I'm not going to do that this time, but that's definitely something I'm going to add to the queue. So we have we could set up menus obviously using Apex, but we can't do it through code, which is nice. And so now if we go to our repository, you can see that we've changed a bunch of files, of course. How to delete account? Yeah, okay. Well, let's see what we got here. Yeah, I am not sure that's a bug. I'm going to go ahead and fix that, but not now. But you can be sure it'll be fixed probably by the time you figure this out. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a user the old-fashioned way. So I'm going to go to post. Let's do Ethan at arclogicsoftware.com. Actually, I can put anything in here, so I can say app2@foo.com because it's using that email override. I can say keep me logged in. I'm going to say log in. That's not going to work because I don't have an account. Let's go to register. Register. Oh, good, it worked. Okay, let me go check my email. And that's not it. What do I want to do? Pull that over here. You have the option of making people verify or not, and you can like control whether you want to just let them log in. You can log them in automatically. And so I got an email that says app2foo created account. That's an admin email. And then I got one with a token in it. And I'm going to take that token and submit it. And see, it auto logs me in once I get the token. So now I'm going to show you how it remembers. So if I'll cut and paste that, and then I will close this out. But if I come back, you can see, we're supposed to log me in. It was supposed to log me in. Yeah, trust me, if you've done development any time, this all worked. This all worked. Oh no, you know what? Well, wait. Yeah. Keep me logged in. Is it app 2? It's app 2. 2. Maybe because I didn't. Oh, I never actually clicked that. I don't know if I actually clicked that or not. Let me try this one more time. Close. Open a new window. Come on. Oh, no, it's not working. Okay, that should keep me logged in. So I will .com. I will check that out. I'm going to say keep me logged in. I'm going to say log in. I'm going to check my cookie and just see if it's dropping the cookie. So that's what happens here. You go into our application, cookies. Yeah, I got an auto login cookie. Oh, I know why. Duh. This is important. Yeah, we need to show you this. Okay. Let's close this. We need to show you this for sure. So we have app events. So these are our hooks into things like after creating an account, on delete account. You know, these things get fired. And I just did this today. That's why I didn't remember them, and I wasn't very clear in my documentation. But we need to go add some a few more pieces of setup. So we're going to go into a page load our global page. Yeah, and call on page load. So we're going to add this to our global page. And you could import, I think you could import these from, yeah, let's go close that. This is required for auto login to work. So let's go to our global page. I'm going to try to keep as much stuff out of the global page as possible. And like if you have the demo app, this is already in there. If you start with the demo app, but I'm trying to build the demo app from scratch every release to show you that, you know, I know that if I'm starting with an app you give me, then I'm going, man, what all is in here? But if I do it, then I kind of know what I've added. And so we're going to go to Dynamic Actions, on page load, and we're going to run. No, what do I want? I want, what am I doing? Execute server-side code. And so what we're doing is calling K2 fire event proc on page load. What fire event proc does is it basically says, if I find a procedure called whatever you have there, I will call it. There's 3 overloaded versions of fire event proc. One takes the name of the proc and a string, the name of the proc and a number, and then one just takes the name of the proc. So it figures out which one to call based on what you pass in. And then you can create on page load, and in this case there's nothing passed to it, so you wouldn't have anything there. But we would just say fire on page load. So that helps with that. But now we need to go back into shared settings. One more other thing we need to add. So we go into security attributes, database, and get back here, and we're going to add this fire event proc for initialize session right here. So what we're doing is now we don't have to come here to modify our code. We're going to have a procedure called initialize session, and now we're hooked into this. We can fire this stuff. And this is what's required for auto login, and I'll show you that in a second here. So when we look at back here to these procedures, you can see on page load, we're processing cookies. So K2 has the ability to set cookies dynamically anywhere in the code. It puts them in a table, and then when the page loads, that queue, that table is looked at, and it says, oh, I've got some cookies that I need to lay down. And this is how we're laying that auth token cookie. Otherwise, you have to make sure that you set the cookie in the right place. So this allows us to set cookies anywhere in code, and then it will get delivered. The payload will get delivered when the page loads. These are the kinds of things we build frameworks for, because we try to make things a little simpler. So if I want to do anything else on page load, I can do it right here now. I don't have to go into the app. So on initialize session, we are calling the auto login code, which tries to figure out if we can auto log in that user. So I'm going to need to run these, and then we're going to try auto login one more time, and then we will call it a day. I think we'll gone far enough. Okay, let's try this again. So let's run our, go back here and run our app. And I'm logged in. No, because I did it that way. I know. So, all right. So I'm signed out. So if I sign out, it should invalidate the token in the tokens table. So it should not be any good, and I should not be able to log in, or not should not be logged in. So I'm not logged in. Good. Now I'm going to log in as app2 at foo.com. I'm going to say keep me logged in. My session is ended. Okay. So now, close window. And boom, I'm logged in. So now you can go away and come back and you're logged in. If I go to sign out, just to show you quickly, we can do forgot password. That works. If I change this to delete, this region to delete, it's not, yeah, it will show up. It'll take you to, I'm not logged in, sorry. Let me log in again. Need to be logged in for that. All right, if I change the region here to delete while I'm logged in, this is your delete account. So if you just create a button and redirect to this page with and set the 2000 or 20,001 region value to delete, and now we can actually delete this account. And will this work? I shouldn't be able to log in now. Okay, so there we are. So we can take care of delete account, forgot password, register, verify. I'll be showing a lot more, you know, in detail. I wanted to get something out to kind of show you how to set these things up. I don't think there's too much else. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I would love to shoot a video. But at this point, I am ready to begin pretty much doing my development. And we'll just go one more minute and kind of show you what happens with development. Yeah. So now I would start with my app schema, and I would start building tables in here. And as I have time, I will fill out the demo app, or I have superloser.io. Go to superloser. I might just put this app out there. It's not like you're going to make any money with it. Log in, log in. Slow. All right. Yeah. So here we are. This is my little weight loss app for tracking weight loss. Unfortunately, my server is extremely slow at the moment. Okay. So I might put that out there, and the neat thing about that is you'd be able to see all the code. I can go into K2 app superloser dev, and we can go to superloser schema, and you can kind of see this is how we build tables and stuff. So we go in, we start building our tables, we start building application code, we start building menus, we start scheduling jobs, we can write some unit tests, we can create users, we have a way of, like, you know, putting patch code in that we need, and we can start building out our API. All those files are right here. We've got configuration for our app in here. we can modify the CSS or JavaScript, and we've got a single file, and we can add extra files and manage them here. So we can put those JavaScript files in our project folder here. We can have different environments. So we've got for SuperLoser we have dev. If we wanted to make a prod, we'd just copy that, copy the config folder, create some changes, copy the install, create the changes, and then we have one for production. We can merge from dev to a prod just by right-clicking on this with like a product like WinMerge and comparing the folders and doing merges that way. If you want, you're welcome to use Git for all of it. A lot of capabilities here. You can see I've frozen lib for SuperLoser to SuperLoser lib, and when I want to make sure I change the fits, forward fit the changes, I just do a merge from lib to SuperLoser lib, and then test, make sure everything's working, and that helps me see, oh yeah, look at that change. That's definitely going to affect me. I need to go fix something in the app. If you have your exports of your files here, that when you do your searches for stuff, you're going to be able to find them in your files, and you're going to very quickly be able to do, find and replaces and things that you need to change and all that. So, wish I had more time to show you more stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is the last of the 2 videos. I think I've got it, and everything is out there. And let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.